Too good. Too good.
Tell you again every week. They are hilarious. Kind of might miss what she does. I don't know what she does in the off season, but I hope she sticks with it.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. You know what? Oh, wait. How? It did see you. It didn't see me. I only had an arm here.
It must have been the beanie.
Must have been the beanie. Okay. Well, I'm a little discombobulated.
You're here.
I'm here though. Had some things.
Damn it. For this podcast, showing up counts.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Because there's only two of us now.
Just the two.
I don't see anybody else walking through that door.
No, not at all.
Oh. Or responding, for that matter.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
Yeah.
But hey, here we are.
Silence speaks volumes, right?
So this tonight might be a little bit of.
Wish the judge was that silent today.
And no. That being said,
that was my Annie Agar dig.
That was. I like it. You should do that more often. Tonight's gonna be a little probably discombobulated, but we're gonna get in it.
That would be fine. I got my paper.
Yeah, I got my paper.
I mean, you don't ever pick before anyway, and I've got my paper, so ultimately we're fine.
Yeah, I mean the show will be exactly the same. Let's be real.
The show must go on.
Let's be real on that. But let's go recap. Let's recap. Okay, college
football.
Notre Dame number 13 go to USC.
Yeah.
USC was favored 5.5 points. Can't say I actually stayed up to watch that game. But
yeah,
what do you think? Besides it going precisely how you thought it.
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of both on this one. You saw it as an under. I saw it as an over.
To be fair, it went to 65.
Right. So literally, I think we were both right there.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, Heisman.
It's over. Is it locked? I mean, because I think the bets were like minus 2,500. But
here's the problem: is yes, he has another game, which he could perform poorly in, but the people that are trying to catch him don't have. I mean, unless you think Max Duggan has a chance to beat him for the Heisman, what would Max Duggan have to do against Kansas State and or in combination with Caleb Williams having to lay an egg?
Caleb Williams would have to go under 100 yards in like 2 picks or more. And then Duggan would have to go 4 plus with 6 plus touchdowns, two rushing and 150.
Right. And just because there's not very many games on, so people are going to be forced to watch.
But that would just to get him in the conversation.
Right.
The body of work, in my opinion,
But Duggan's been really good all year. He's just not going to get the notoriety.
True.
Caleb Williams hasn't gotten the notoriety. Like, if Hooker kept winning, didn't get hurt, whatever, and if Stroud beat Michigan, like, those guys weren't going to get the notoriety they deserved either.
Correct. But they do now.
Here they are. And Caleb Williams, mind you, was my Heisman pick.
Yeah.
So there's going to be something involved in me winning that.
Yeah, me winning that.
That's a season-long bet that's about to
hit. Money. If you would have put money on it, that would have been it.
It was like USC to make the playoff. Sometimes you just know. And
they could still lose. Yep. So let's not.
They could.
Not get out of that. But
do we need to turn that light on, by the way?
We probably do.
All right.
I don't think we did last week either, by the way.
Is that?
I think about it. Because I don't remember shutting it off. So therefore.
You know why? That's why the computer recognized me. I was dark.
You were dark. I want to turn this one on eventually.
The pulsating flashing light?
We'll fix it. I gotta get the Christmas tree.
There we go. Now that you guys can see me.
Yeah. Yep. Will you smile for us?
But yeah, that game, Notre Dame shot themselves in the foot a couple times. Quarterback play, unfortunately for them, has been
not good.
It's a fumble here or there, a poor decision, and then all of a sudden they're out of the game. And not really anything USC did specifically. Right. That was the big kind of Twitter talk. A couple of talking heads. How many times is USC going to get, fumbled to, or a tip pass or whatever?
Don't talk about tip passes, please.
Seemingly the only thing that their defense can do is, but at the same time, like when somebody fumbles to you, then you have to recover it. And when somebody throws a bad pass, like you have to catch it. And so far this season, for the most part, USC has, because they by no means have anywhere in the top, I don't even think top 50 type of defense. So that's why they're only, I think, 2.5-point favorites this week. So against Utah, who beat them earlier. So we'll get into that later. But yeah, that game kind of is what it is. I don't think they can call Notre Dame number 13 or whatever they end up at this week, but nobody's scared to play Notre Dame.
No, not at all.
So maybe Clemson.
Clemson might be scared to play anybody.
Yeah, right. They're scared to play offense.
They're not. That's not. Anywho. Oh, yeah.
Iowa, Nebraska.
Yeah. Wow.
A lot of layers to this game.
Wow.
But ultimately, yeah,
Holy
Iowa laid an egg. Nebraska played well, but what they did well was exploit where Iowa was weak, which was on the offensive line and the defensive secondary, specifically one corner. And Nebraska made all of their offensive touchdowns through the one corner where DeJean got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And poor defensive adjustments from that one position as far as giving that guy help, putting a better athlete in there. I don't know what the answer is. I'm not going to pretend that Phil Parker needs to be told how to play. I mean, he's coaching a top 3 efficiency defense in the country. So, but however, you shouldn't be exploited, to your point, as we were talking this weekend, by one guy being out if your defense is actually that good.
Right. And then to attest to more of that, their D-line did not show up.
No, they didn't get any pressure at all.
There was no pressure. So not only does that mean more pressure on that replacement guy, but now you didn't scheme away from it. You just said, go ahead.
Because they got pushed around in the running game a little bit too.
They got I don't know. That defense, and I don't know even if I want to say they look tired or run down, but it showed a long season with a lot of plays. Mm-hmm. I will say that much. For the first half, obviously, and then Nebraska legitimately shut it down.
They tried.
That was ridiculous.
Tried to give it away. They tried in Nebraska and all the way back.
I mean, they might as well just need the ball at that point.
Well, I mean, Petrus gets hurt. Well, first of all, Petrus senior day.
Yep.
Petrus comes out and Petrus is amped. I mean, he's back to week 1 through 5 or 6. Petrus. Overthrowing, balls might as well be coming out of the damn pitching machine.
Yeah.
With the thing's just, I mean, Brian Ferentz, who we really haven't seen all year, him get on Petrus maybe once or twice, maybe. Basically, literally audibly on the field as he runs off, tells him to calm the F down. You can hear it on the stadium microphone. Calm the F down, because he is
just amped.
Had won the next drive. He did actually calm down a little bit. Unfortunately, then he got hurt. I'm going to say this, and things that I never thought I would say. I think if he stays in that game, they win.
I cannot rule it out.
Because I think their running game is more efficient with him.
I agree.
Because if Padilla is not going to run the ball as a quarterback when he comes in.
That's a whole different conversation.
Which it is, but just wrapping that all together, that is why I think that, because
I agree.
Padilla had to be willing to run when he got out of the pocket, because Padilla doesn't stand in the pocket.
Right.
And if he's not going to play backyard football, as Brian Ferentz hates, so my guess is he's been told not to run because of that. Then you can't play the position.
I was just saying, though, the adjustments that Ferentz made when Padilla came in were going to be the adjustments anyway, I believe, because they went back to running the ball and they were getting yards and those things happened. That should have happened with Petrus, which most likely they would have won that game, I believe, as well. And then it just kept getting out of hand because they.
But I for sure think they win the game if DeJean doesn't go out, no matter who plays quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, I think you and I probably could have gotten in there and played quarterback.
But what was surprising is in the DeJean thing would have, first of all, that hit was awesome.
Yeah.
Like the cleanest wide receiver hit I think I've seen in a very long time.
Right.
So let's respect that. But I still think Nebraska was going to just attack them in the air, which I didn't think they were going to be able to do because of the pass rush.
Right, but I don't think like with the in there,
it wouldn't have been.
Like he's not giving up 3 scores. He doesn't give 3 scores.
So
he's giving up 1. Okay, like I'll give you 1 simply because if you keep attacking, you might get 1 where he's trying to guess.
Yeah,
you're not getting 3.
No,
because on 2 of them is just simply lack of fundamental defense of like, oh, I'm in the red zone, they can't run past me, and I just kept backpedaling.
And let him cross my face.
Right.
Okay, fine.
Like
go ahead. In the end zone. That's exactly what you do.
So,
but I've talked to a couple Iowa fans. They even said though, like it's actually for the better that they're not in the Big Ten championship. They had to get beat to be like, okay, we need to fix some things. We'll mention it later, but Padilla is now in the portal. You've got rumors of McNamara coming. I mean, there's just so much going on that if I was in the Big Ten championship, the changes that probably need to happen, I don't think they do. Now they still might not,
right?
But they have the opportunity now to really take that time in the Big Ten. Personally, I believe they got better with the coaching changes in Wisconsin and Nebraska. Yeah. And then you still have USC, UCLA coming in 2 years. So Iowa has a very small window to get things changed before it could get ugly.
It's infinitely harder.
It's going to get harder regardless.
Because they're going to divisions are going to get taken away. So you're not going to get to play the pancakes of the week.
Of the West. No, you're not.
So they've got a lot to get straightened out. With Ferentz still there, like there might be minor changes. There's not going to be a major overhaul. So you have to get a guy or guys. You got to get your offensive line straightened out, and you've got to change the offensive coordinator.
Yes, send your son back to dealing with the line because the line's been in shambles since he's been offensive coordinator.
Right.
Get him back there so that squares that up.
Right.
Come bring an OC that can adapt to the modern game a little more so for you.
Mm-hmm.
And, right the ship because your defense, you don't have a problem. You will not have a problem with that defense.
Right.
But if you don't fix that offense, then guess who's going to be at the bottom of the barrel?
Yep.
There's no shot there. So, overall, crazy-ass game. Made no sense, I think, start to finish, personally. Just none of it.
Right. I mean, it's kind of how the games, honestly, though, how the games played out the last few years is Nebraska dominating for 3 quarters and then Iowa somehow finding a way to make it interesting. Winning,
right,
and then this year they just couldn't quite get over the hump.
I'm pretty sure it's exactly what we said with the money line. Like, I was going to figure out a way to win it, and Nebraska really tried.
They were down 20. Iowa, who has I don't know how many times they scored 24 points all year, was down 24-0
in the third
with a backup quarterback who really couldn't do anything, an offensive line who couldn't block themselves.
They tried.
And a corner who couldn't cover his own shadow.
I did want to bring this up because I don't know who the hell I was arguing about this, but they were saying the O-line is just atrocious, and they were showing replays of when they went 5 wide, and they would always bring pressure. Mm-hmm. But this one they didn't. They actually dropped. They sank. I think they only rushed 4.
Right.
But they looked like they're overloading the left side and then just brought it. And everyone, do we have that on Twitter? I'm not sure, but essentially the line zone blocked left, right? And then the guy off the corner just came.
Right, but you can't zone block to nothing.
That's why I was going to question, like, how much is that is on coaching, the player, or the quarterback to make some type of line call to adjust?
I don't think there can't be a line, like if it's 3-step drop, fine. You can zone, like you can just turn and block. That was shotgun 5-step, 7-step type of route. You have to block a guy in your area. That's just like that. But that's what I've seen out of Iowa's offensive line all year, whereas like the inherent natural things as far as like Iowa's just good at it because their linemen are good. They're taught well. Like they do the instinctual things well.
Right.
Like what all of the things their defense does, their offensive line usually also does. And this year they just don't. They miss super obvious assignments. And again, like you can argue one way or the other. Is it coaching? Is it the players just not picking up the scheme? Like you're 11 games into the season. I can't let a guy who lines up in a 3-point stance directly in front of me just run into the quarterback. Like that's not the running back's guy. They only rushed 3, maybe 4 people that time. So
yeah, I agree with you. He's lined up over you. You at least
at least have to get a punch.
Yeah. To look.
Nothing.
My other thing was the guard also, his guy disappeared. He had no one either.
Right.
Where was the look around and peel back? Where was any of that scenario? Those two guys just failed miserably.
Right.
Because there was no one on that side but one. It was 1-on-2 on the right side.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it was 1-on-0.
Right.
Because they didn't block, which led to a fumble and all that stuff. So I just wanted to get your opinion on that.
No, it just
from your perspective.
Just bad.
Just bad.
Like,
just bad. All right. Well, hey, game of the week though, huh? Huh?
Yeah.
Woo! This one, it was fun, and it went score-wise, flow game, how I thought. I just didn't think Michigan was going to throw all over the place. I thought they were going to run all over the place. So that was interesting.
Which they ran, but they ran after the game, like after Ohio State, which was super disappointing. Like after they gave up,
and they gave up.
Yeah,
I know. I remember we chatted about that. Like Stroud gave up. He actually dropped in the draft, in my opinion.
Right.
Or because he just gave up, or he should. Right. At least he should, because he just said, like that.
I don't understand. And this is going to be like, I mean, somewhat defending it, like Iowa, Ferentz, stuff like that, is like that type of stuff. Yes, Iowa can get blown out, and yes, they cannot be as good, but like that, like you can't give up 5 plays of 45 yards.
No.
And so, was it 5 touchdowns all over 45 yards?
I believe so. And they were
every touchdown was over 45 yards, meaning that like
they weren't close.
They didn't get in the red zone because they didn't have to. Now that's not to say they couldn't,
but they didn't.
But have to. Like you never put that, like red zone offense and red zone defense is a different type of game pressure for both sides. It's a different type of game because you don't have the ability to go over the top. So offenses and defenses. Now that being said, if you think Michigan could out physical Ohio State, then they should be successful in the red zone. Therefore, it's irrelevant. They just happen to score.
Right.
But if you were going to tell me one team was going to score 5 times over 45 yards, Ohio State is that team 100% of the time. So
absolutely.
Never saw that coming. A little bit of a fluke in the last 2 just because I think Ohio State was just so flabbergasted by it.
That last run,
right,
broke them. Absolutely broke them.
So, I mean, it is what it is. You can't let it happen, though. I mean, if you're a top 3 team, if you have playoff, like you can't do that because you make yourself look worse by doing that. Nobody wants to see that on national television. No. Like the committee doesn't want to see you go get down 2 scores in a playoff game and then get beat by 50.
Right.
And so that's the fact that Ohio State had won every game by 10 plus points gives you a little bit of front runner. I love being ahead, but I don't do shit when I'm behind mentality. Right. Mm-hmm. And if you want competitive football games, you better show a little bit of.
You would say that you want more TCUs.
Right,
who are in battling and win.
Like, I mean, you look at all of them. I mean, you look at Alabama, you look at Michigan, you look at TCU. I mean, those teams have all been, you can call it battle tested. You can call it, escaping. It's like, it doesn't matter. Like, they've been in situations where we've either had to finish off games, we've had to come back from games, we've had to, and like that means something. Right. Michigan's been in first half dogfights half of their games. Now, a lot of games they've blown teams out and it's looked bigger than it was, but Michigan's been tied at half like the last 6 weeks, it feels like, and then all of a sudden they won by 3 touchdowns.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, but they had to grind to get there. And Ohio State really to your point, you thought they were going to run, be able to grind it out, pull away in the second half. I didn't think they could throw the ball like that to ever get it to a point where they could grind it out in the second half. And ultimately, that's where I was wrong. And Ohio State's defense was just not up to task.
Exposed. And I've been saying it. They don't have that good of a defense. I would pick Michigan's defense.
They just have playmakers.
They have playmakers.
They don't have
a good defense.
Cohesive unit. So,
and that's an issue, and I'm glad it glaringly happened now. Now they still might make the playoffs, and we'll get to that talk later. Right. But it was good to see. It was good to see. So on the week, I went 5-4. You went 3-6, which is really pitiful. Our best bets, Ole Miss lock. That didn't happen. Oregon lock. Well, that's good. However, we did cash in on the Clemson, South Carolina, though.
Can we talk about the Oregon game?
Yeah, go ahead. I have nothing.
Okay, so Oregon State, rivalry game.
Absolutely.
Oregon wins. They are in the Pac-12 championship. Control their own destiny. They are up 3 touchdowns.
Excuse me?
3 touchdowns. They're up, 34-14 with 8:20 something to go in the game. The result is Oregon on 4th and 1 from the 4th and goal at the end of the game throws an incomplete pass to lose the game 38-34. How many passes did Oregon State throw in the last 8 minutes and 28 seconds?
You would think.
Take the under.
You would think.
It's under.
Like 25.
It's under.
20, 15,
it's under.
10. What'd they do?
0.
What?
0
They ran
times.
the ball down 3 scores and won?
They threw the ball 2 times this whole second half.
How is that?
They ran the ball, I think it was 26 or 28 straight times to end the game. Gave up 24 unanswered points and lost the game 38-34 for a chance to still have a chance at the playoff, still have a chance at the Pac-12 championship, and be guaranteed a spot in the Rose Bowl, basically. And they did not throw one pass.
To me, that's on the defense coordinator. Load up. They're only running. Stop the run. Go ahead, beat me deep. Then fine.
And your offense needs
and your offense has to do its job. But I'm saying,
but at the same point, they did not put the ball in the air.
I'm sorry. No. I'm not even going to put that on the offense.
Right.
Defense, you own this.
This wasn't
you were up
a
3 scores.
read option quarterback that was.
You were up 3 scores with 8 minutes left. Mm-hmm. That is 100% on the defense. Yeah. Because mathematically, if they're running the ball, they have to go at least 2.5, 3 minutes, and that's with good chunks to score. Mm-hmm. There's just not enough time,
right?
Unless your offense, fumbled it away, which they didn't.
So that happened to.
What the hell? I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. So that's how that.
Good job, Oregon.
Was lost.
Oregon.
Say Iowa almost made their comeback. I'm trying to think. There was another game that was very similar to that too, where a team. I'll remember it as we go.
Yeah. Spread lock. Plus 14.5 for South Carolina. They were just straight up winners, which DGen pick hit at plus 500. The Georgia Tech 36.5, which I thought was a phenomenal number.
Yeah.
Should have always took that one. Got scared.
Got to 30.
It got there.
With Georgia having the ball, and then Georgia Tech got me a late tutty, 37-14.
Yep. So covered on that one.
Plus 23.
That was a dub. Tennessee Vandy under 64.5. Absolute lock. Tennessee won 56-0. So that was, by the way, did not see that coming.
Right.
That's ridiculous. So their backup quarterback, he has some juice.
It's fine. Yeah.
LSU, Texas A&M, that went so far over, it's not even funny.
Oh, yeah. Game didn't make any sense either.
No.
All of a sudden, Texas A&M can play offense.
Texas A&M decided to be the team they were preseason?
Right.
Rankings?
Number 6.
Preseason
number 6, not going to a bowl
4 wins
game.
or whatever they have?
Yeah, 5.
5. Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I apologize. Mm-hmm. But just took it to LSU, and that went so far over.
Right.
Cole lost that one. I went with Coastal Carolina in the DGen pick. Wow, I didn't think it was going to be that atrocious.
Yeah,
they lost by like 40.
Dismantled.
Didn't see that happening.
Yep.
And then again, you hit your DGen pick. So
overall, Spencer Rattler now in the portal.
Rumor has it he's going to Nebraska.
Make any damn sense? I don't understand. We'll talk about that. I don't understand.
We got a lot to talk
There's a lot I do understand.
This might be a late episode.
A lot I just don't understand.
Little
root beer.
Little burr.
Some root beer.
Little beer.
Oh, man. Might as well put that back over here. We also had, this game's not listed on here, but we did have the shitty shot side bet, Florida State, which was an electric game.
Yeah.
I had Florida winning that. You had Florida State, 45-38 final.
Right. That's right.
Ooh, lemon lime root beer.
That's how you ride.
Yikes. All right. I'll do one now, one later. Might as well do the root beer. And that is the college football week 13 recap. And
I'm not going to read this out loud, but the attorneys just found out more.
Like, to what end? Just felt like it. Doesn't care if he gets fired. Fun. NFL.
Wow. Poor. This went poorly for your boy, and it really came down to my own team. So we'll get to that. I don't want to, because it.
Yeah. You want to ultimately came down to Monday Night Football.
Well, that too. Also,
that pit cover, baby. Never a doubt.
Yeah, there was doubts. Man, I was like one drive on both of those from just destroying the week. And I mean, I got 58.82%. You went 64.7%. I'm like,
right.
Let's back it up. We did all right.
Yeah.
But it should have been so much more. Turkey Day, gobble gobble.
Great football games.
My eldest had influenza A, so we were at home putting food together, but watching all the football.
Mm-hmm. Favorite dish you had, even though you were limited?
Yeah. Honestly, like I said, rolls. Homemade yeast rolls.
Good. So we talked about potatoes.
Yeah.
I had several Thanksgivings.
Like 12.
I had some bad mashed potatoes in one of my Thanksgivings, and I will not reveal where it was.
No, because that's
who.
It's personal. That's your personal life. You don't want to get in trouble.
Disappointed in one of the sets of mashed potatoes, but good spreads everywhere. Just gluttony.
Yeah.
Just feel like Sunday night. We kind of made our way through leftovers, but wife had to run to town because we were putting up Christmas decorations. Needed a couple things from Target. She's like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "A salad from anywhere." And she's like, "Excuse me?" And I was like, "My body can't. My body needs something else besides a carb, or a protein, like a heavy protein.
Protein.
She's like, "Do you want anything?" I was like, "No, just salad. Like, I don't need chicken on my salad. Like, so I had soup and salad Sunday night
to recover
from Panera to try to recover from this.
You know, it's bad when
right. Like that's just like 4 Thanksgivings. Just like no, I just can't." But yeah, had a lot of good dishes. One of my favorite dishes I had this week was actually it was a broccoli and cheese rice casserole.
Broccoli and cheese and rice. Yeah, I love that.
So like,
I'm
simple, but like it goes with everything on the plate, and just was just a good mix up. So because I put the smoked turkey into my broccoli, cheese, and rice, and put a little gravy on there. So like. Plate planning, not to get too off topic here, but like, so I always go with the mashed potatoes, gravy, corn, stuffing with turkey or ham, whichever meat that I'm going, as like a pile.
Yeah.
And then I'll have like separately, I'll have my roll, my green bean casserole, if there's like a pretzel salad or an apple salad or something like that, and then whatever other side there might be. So I've created my own casserole, but it also leaves enough room on your plate to make sure that you can get everything and not feel cheated.
That's valid.
So
first of all, back out. What the hell is a pretzel salad?
So like, it's like strawberry gelatin or Jello based. It's got pretzel crumbles and then whipped cream, and then slices of strawberries in the Jello.
That might be one of the most Iowan dishes I think I have ever heard of.
So you've heard of scotcheroos? Those are Iowa.
Yeah,
that's Iowa.
It's a scotcheroo,
what else? Like an apple Snicker salad. Is that Iowa?
Yeah, but not good.
No.
No. First of all, I don't do candy. I don't do overly sweet things.
Right. Okay, yeah.
And those combinations are weird.
Yeah, it's like whipped cream, Snickers, apples.
Yes,
like
it's what it is. Yeah. It is, and it's weird.
Yeah,
it's just not.
It's fine. I don't. It's just overindulge in that. The pretzel salad's pretty good though, because it's different textures.
Yeah, a little salty
so
too.
You get a little salty, a little crunch, like salty sweet.
That one I can get behind, but the others I couldn't. I did end up. We ended up going to Sam's Club and got a sweet potato pie.
Okay. That makes sense though that you say you don't like sweet, so that you would be a sweet potato pie guy over a pumpkin pie guy.
Absolutely.
So you're also not doing the Cool Whip then, I assume.
I did my homemade cream.
Okay.
Which isn't super sweet.
And it's not as sweet.
Yeah.
So Cool Whip pumpkin pie. So I also
I love me some Cool Whip.
I did a very good job on my desserts. I was very proud of myself. At our first Thanksgiving, we had like 8 desserts. So I'm talking we had cookies, we had caramel checks, we had 3 different types of pie, we had a chocolate 3-layer cake with caramel, and so I did like an appetizer size serving of all of them.
Yeah,
I was so proud of myself.
That was good.
It's like, and I didn't make myself miserable, and I didn't go back.
Oh, it was good.
Yes, so as far as like from the dessert perspective.
Yeah, I mean that's you're going back.
So like as much as like, don't get me wrong, still ate a ton of food. Like I wasn't awfully miserable.
And we all have been there where you're like, I think I'd rather die. I think I would rather just
no mas.
Yeah.
Like I was Sunday night, which we didn't even have a Thanksgiving on Sunday, but by like Sunday night we had the leftovers. It was just like, no,
I need salad.
My body was just like, salad. I don't even know what I'm sweating right now, but it's like gravy.
Sir, we need a salad.
Hams,
get it in me.
leftovers.
All right. So Turkey
NFL.
Day, Bills, Lions. I just want everyone to know from the new stat perspective that it held pretty well. Cowboys, Giants kind of screwed that up, although never mind, we'll get to that. But 9.5, take the under, destroyed it with the Buffalo Detroit game. Detroit showed up, played very well. We talked about this with the announcers of like they just thought Detroit was the worst team ever. Mm-hmm. Don't understand that. First of all, it's Turkey Day. Lions play well on Turkey Day. They score points.
Just like the Lions have been good this year.
And
like
so the 9.5 point line was a ridiculous thing. We talked about that. That was stupid. And then I rode with the under because, 9.5, you go with the under.
I suppose.
And it worked.
Whoop, there it is.
And whoop, there it is. So fairly easy one. I'll let you go.
We both hit both of those. You hit the under, I missed. So you're up 1 there. We get into the Giants-Cowboys game.
Whoa, time out. How did we not talk about this?
What?
USA, baby. How did we not bring that up?
Well, did you watch did you watch the game?
No, I was busy.
Right. You didn't watch the game. Here's the thing. The second half of that game, we died up there, went exactly how Wales went, except for we didn't commit a penalty in the box.
Oh.
We should have given up another goal in the second half. We were fortunate not to.
And then the non-penalty.
We subbed. Stupid. We parked the bus after we got a 1-0 lead, and it should have been 2-0. We screwed up an opportunity at the end of the first half to go up 2-0 in like the 44th minute, and could have just put the game away completely in the first half. Didn't, and then came out and parked the bus in the second half for the last 25 minutes or so.
Did Iran park the bus at all in the first
half? Absolutely. And it was literally exactly like watching the Wales game. I don't know if you watched the Wales game at all. It was the Wales game all over again, except for we didn't commit a penalty in the box, and we had 2 opportunities where if they would have called one, you would have been pissed, but you couldn't really argue it. And they weren't it wasn't like the Wales penalty. I thought the Wales penalty was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like that, but we gave them opportunities in the second half, and we only had 1 or 2, and they probably had 4 or 5 in the second half. Now, we had like 6 or 7 opportunities in the first half and did not put balls away.
So,
but
ultimately, you were
finally put the ball away in the first half, 1-0.
You were thinking it was going to
be tied up. And he got removed at halftime.
Did he?
Yep. Didn't play the whole second half.
Great.
But, yeah, U.S., just didn't trust that they could play an aggressive style of game for 90 minutes. And eventually they have to, because that's the only style that they can play and be successful, which was the style that they played 90 minutes against England.
Right.
Because it was 0-0. I hated that they only scored once in the first half simply because you knew what they were going to do in the second half. That's what they're coached to do.
Yeah.
Anytime they attack, they only attack with half their guys in the second half.
How much do you think that has to do with their age, right? They're young guys.
No, I think it's how they're coached.
Well, that too, but I mean, like, first of all, let's get back to it, even with football. I hate when you go conservative and shut it down, unless it makes mathematical sense, kind of like the
but
Super
like
Bowl.
A lot of times the best defense is a good offense.
Just stay aggressive.
Yeah,
I'm okay with staying aggressive, not aggressive stupid, but aggressive to the point where you're still putting pressure on them, because then they can't just go probably what happened, and that's what Wales did. They could just attack with zero concern that you're going to try to
Ron,
counter.
like I will say this, the U.S. mishandled the ball in the second half terribly. They were not careful with the ball. And so on top of that, it made it feel worse because like first touches were bad. Ball handling was bad.
Just
like errant passes, errant ball handling on top of a lack of.
Is that, you think it was nerves because of their age?
I don't know that it like, is it nerves or is it like, again, I say it comes back to coaching, but to me it does, because what is the message in the locker room as far as like, so are we making sure that we don't press too much forward and like,
right? So now they're thinking. Because
now we're thinking.
Now we're thinking that play.
And like as a coach, my job is to make you think is the least amount as possible, so that you can perform. Use whatever God-given talents that you have to perform at your
and
peak.
Get it done. Right.
And the U.S. has done that for 4 halves of football, and the 2 halves they haven't. They've given up a lead and did everything in their damn power today to give up a lead.
But hey,
and there was 9 extra minutes.
There was 9.
Yeah, and then they had an extra minute on top of that, so they played 100 minutes today, or
more. Yeah.
Well, they played 104. They played 10 extra minutes in the second half, though.
Have you? And I don't remember this because we haven't watched the men's World Cup. Like I don't watch World Cup.
No, it's been a lot this year.
But it seems like there's been a lot of stoppage time, right?
Mm-hmm. And there was 2 major injuries in the second half that caused that.
Yeah, makes sense.
So,
but anyways, USA. They needed to get through. I think it's great for the young guys.
Saturday morning, 9 a.m.
It's going to be fantastic. Going to make a good spread. Mm-hmm. And watch it. Do we know who they're playing yet?
Denmark. I believe that's correct.
I have no idea if Denmark's good or not.
So. I mean, they're solid. They're winning their group. So the U.S. will play a group winner. Had England shit the bed and not just destroyed Wales, at least 3-0 was the last time that I saw. They scored 3 goals in the first 15 minutes of the second half. It was 0-0 at halftime, and then all of a sudden it was 3-0.
Wales is like, ooh, I'm feeling good.
Right.
Oh, no, shut it down.
So England's going to win the group. They play Senegal now. So U.S. potentially, if England drew and U.S. could have extended their lead, could have drawn Senegal instead of Denmark. But
it's what it is.
Survive in advance.
If they play like they did against England, they can compete with a lot of teams. That's all. They just got to stay there. So, but USA, back to it. Giants-Cowboys.
Giants-Cowboys. Game went exactly how I expected, right up until there was 8 seconds left and the Giants got a backdoor cover. Minus 9.5.
So excited. I could not have messaged Cole faster.
Yeah.
I just want everyone to know that. Like, as soon as it happened, I said backdoor cover and I am in love.
So it was backdoor cover and an over. All on
that kind of sucks.
Play, which we had the under. So that's why I say, like, literally for me, that game went 100% how I expected. Thought Dallas would win. Thought Dallas would cover, except for we let them score late. That also took the game over, and we both had the under on that. So not a lot to say. Like, Dallas took care of business. They needed to. Giants are the only team in that division that's headed in the wrong direction. They get the Commanders this week.
Huge game.
I have a best bet on that game that we'll talk about. But Cowboys did what they needed to do. Zeke was much more involved, actually ran really well.
He didn't
have any complaints. I try not to. I don't want to be overly negative when he gets too many carries, but Pollard is just the more explosive back, and I just always think that as long as he's getting the job done in other parts, even if Zeke's healthy, he still needs to be the featured guy just because he's the only one that can break
everything.
But Zeke did have 2 runs, I will say, where I would have expected him just to fall forward, and he actually did extended yardage plays.
Maybe he is.
I think he's healthier.
Well, but do you think he's seeing that style and learning too?
I mean, I think a little bit, but I think a little bit of it too is just the fact that he's fresher. Your legs are fresh enough that you can do more than the fall forward.
Yeah.
And I do think he's seen Pollard break how many runs this year. It's like,
shit.
Well, damn. Right. So I think it's a combination. So
which is healthy.
A good problem to have.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing I would say I was disappointed in is Pollard didn't get enough passes.
Right.
And ultimately that's where I was like.
But they were really efficient with what I liked is that Gallup on third down made some big catches, and that's what they're going to need come end of season, specifically though playoff time, when the box is loaded, when it's 3rd and 6, when we're still where we need to be, but we're a little bit behind the sticks. We don't want to get into 3rd and 15, those types of situations because we're not built for that.
Right.
But can you possess the football? It's what Amari Cooper was great at and still has been great at in Cleveland. Is we just need that other guy to go with Lamb as far as possessing the football, allowing your team to run the clock, allowing your team to grind out games, and eventually dominate a game because of that over 60 minutes. But that's what I saw this week. That was good. Need to continue that trend with the Colts this coming week. Patriots Vikings. Last Turkey Day game.
I'm trying to figure that out.
Minnesota. Taking care of business.
Ugly
game.
Goon-locked on.
What we've seen for the Patriots is, they're going to be a grind-it team, and they gave it their all right up till the end.
They should did.
Vikings end up covering the 2.5.
And at some point, we got to stop talking about the Vikings.
Went over.
I don't really care, but yes,
42.5.
It worked.
They're a feel-good story, though. They're a solid football team. So, we've kind of started rooting. I feel like we've kind of started rooting for the Vikings.
Yeah, we have. I think I also have them.
Kirk Cousins is getting a grill, so that's
just ridiculous.
Something. But let's not delay anymore. Let's get into your Falcons.
It's just not. Okay, so the game went exactly overall how I thought it would. Although don't know why we picked over because I said it was going to rain. And I just don't know why. But anyways, game went exactly how I thought. We played well. I thought we let Heineke get away with a little too much, but ran the ball against the best run defense in the league, or top 2 at least. So we can win. That's what I'm proud about. What irks me a little bit is we're down 6. Don't know if you guys know that's how much we lost by. But we're down 6 with a minute and something left, 1st and goal. Actually it was 2nd and goal at this point. And in my mind, we have dominated them on the ground. I know we have to pass one of the downs. That has to happen.
Right.
And I'm not actually upset with the play call, actually. Mm-hmm. I just wish it was on 3rd down.
Right.
Not 2nd down.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that is because I just believe that a quick pass like that, which, by the way, Patterson was wide open.
Mm-hmm.
It's a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
It's a touchdown if it does not get tipped.
Right.
Let's put it that way.
100%.
But I just don't think that the defense of line was going to pass rush enough for him not to stand up and knock that ball down.
Right.
A quick hitter there was not in time because they weren't going to go upfield.
Right.
They were getting gashed, and they were going to try to get their gaps to make sure that everyone filled their gaps and not got the 8 yards or whatever it was left.
Right.
So to me, it was not the play call, and it was not the throw. A tip pass. Sometimes tip passes, if you hit him in the helmet, I get it as a quarterback, but
no, that was just a.
And then he had a dive to catch the ball, so I'm okay with all of that. Just not on 2nd down.
Right.
I'd rather have it 3rd down where maybe they know everyone thinks on 3rd down you're throwing it.
No, right.
I would think that as a defender,
mm-hmm.
which means now I'm trying to get to you,
right.
which that lane's open.
Mm-hmm.
But the coverage, why would the coverage change?
Yeah,
it wouldn't have.
Wouldn't. Yep.
No, and they would have got picked apart and won. And so we should have won, in my opinion. We literally should have won that game, which is frustrating. So my Atlanta
of your season,
Atlanta
you and the Ravens.
Yeah.
The Ravens and the wild, large birds
do poorly at the end of games.
Right.
Poorly.
Mm-hmm.
So I went.
Need to be a slightly smaller bird, like an eagle, maybe.
Like an eagle, maybe.
Yeah.
I went Atlanta, and you went Washington. Yeah. And that was the difference.
That was the difference.
Legitimately the difference of the rest of the day, basically.
Yeah.
Except for Indy, which is actual difference. Whatever, Indy. Yeah. Packers, Eagles. This actually turned into like a game, which was
a shootout. An everything shootout. So,
but like, I got to get the stat. The stats on the running stats are ridiculous.
Packers, Eagles was 46.5. Eagles favored by a touchdown. This game went over in the first half.
Yeah, what was it? What'd you say?
It was 27-20, I believe.
46.5. Yeah, it was 27-20 at
halftime. So the game went over at halftime. Two defenses who are supposed to be at least solid, above average, just got picked apart on both sides. Rodgers picked the Eagles defense apart.
There was 842 total yards.
And the Packers defense, the problem with the Packers defense is you would have thought the Packers defense was playing against Peyton Manning because they didn't think Jalen Hurts knew how to run the football.
Astonishing.
He ran for the 5th most yards that a quarterback has ever run for in NFL history.
17 for 157 yards at a 9.2 carry.
Yeah.
Now, you would also think that's all the rushing yards they gave up.
No. Wait, there's more.
Sanders went 21 for 143.
Yeah.
And Gainwell went for 8 for 39, and then Scott went 3 for 24. They averaged 7.4.
If you got a handoff, you were getting 7 yards.
7.4 yards.
Dare I say, I could have got 4 yards a carry.
Absolutely.
By falling forward through the gaping holes there were in that Packers defense. And yet, Rodgers, so the thumb, I think the thumb's broken at this point, or worse than broken. It's just done. Yeah. So he goes out, and Jordan Love comes in.
Bomb,
dart.
Who is this kid?
Look good. Like, honestly, the release looked good. You can tell he's been practicing with Rodgers. The release is Rodgers-esque.
It is.
Which was weird to see a little bit. I wasn't expecting that much correlation in their physical attributes on the field. So, I mean, I think that was good for Packers fans if overall, but you lose the game.
You start Love the rest of the
40-33.
Correct.
I don't think Rodgers can. If
he
went out of that game, he's not getting better.
Correct. So they're shut him down.
Yeah, just be done.
Now,
if you're the Packers, I don't know why you're putting him back in.
What if Love goes on a streak?
I just don't think it matters. Like, they're not going to make the playoffs at this point.
Exactly. So shut him down.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lose-lose to play him anymore.
Right. Yeah, because he's not good enough.
Right. And then you at least know at
what Love has, or you can get something for Love because you have a high pick anyway. Right.
Christian Watson continues to develop as a receiver. So just a lot of good things there. Jones and Dillon had great nights, both of them successfully moved the football through the air on the ground. The Packers, no Packers fan or the Packers organization are going to be like, oh, moral victory. But they did a lot of things well that they hadn't done well all year.
Correct.
But Eagles win, push on the 7 at 40-33. And like we said, that game went over at halftime. We were on the under.
I just didn't see the Packers scoring.
No. And we kind of thought that they would make the Eagles throw, and they didn't. Whoa. And we thought that they would try to grind a little bit, and they didn't have to. And so just didn't go how we anticipated at all. Last game, and depending on how you want to look at it, the deciding game, Monday Night Football, Steelers, Colts 2.5-point favorites at home, 39.5 the total. Both had the over.
Hey!
Which hit in the last possession?
I'll verify.
I believe.
I'll verify.
So,
second to last.
Second to last possession.
Well, actually, no. There was multiple possessions.
Okay.
Let's
24. It went to 41. So, I mean.
But the last score.
Right, the last score.
Because it was actually 4%.
Well, they went for 2. And so that's why I was like, if they didn't get the 2-point conversion, Pittsburgh still could have won, and then that game still could have gone under. So the 2-point conversion ultimately put it over. But nobody had a bad night. I mean, Pickett played okay. I don't know. Matt Ryan didn't. He Matt Ryan'd.
He Matt Ryan of 2022.
Taylor played all right.
One of his picks was not his fault.
Right. Najee Harris got hurt first half. Cost me 2 of my fantasy leagues because he had 40 yards and a touchdown and then didn't play for 3 quarters. But, yeah, so there was that. Ultimately, both of us had Indy finding a way to win that game at home, and they did not. Pitt escaped with a win. I did have them covering because I couldn't decide in that game. Obviously, 2.5. You always take both sides.
Worked out well, Ryan.
You do the Ryan. And take the win. 11-6 for me this week, and Stoy with a 10-7 disappointment, as it were.
Peppermint, quickly, son of a...
Ooh, we got a little peppermint and a little lemon lime. I'll do that with you.
I prefer lemon lime.
Quick rundown.
What the hell what happened there?
After we can talk about this real quick.
Yeah.
Seattle decided not to play defense against the Raiders,
who don't really know how to play offense.
Josh Jacobs, 84 yards in overtime.
First of all, I loved it. That was sick, though.
That was Michigan-esque.
That was awesome.
It looked like the Michigan game. The safety just had no chance. 85 yards straight down the middle.
See ya, game over.
Game over.
Let's go home.
Getting that game into overtime, though, like just Seattle, their defense, they looked like Seattle of earlier in the year, which we thought they had gotten over.
They clearly
especially against the Raiders.
So that's an issue.
I mean, Derek Carr literally went down crying on the field.
Yeah,
because they've won 2 games in a row since he cried in the press conference. So Russell Wilson, maybe try something besides Let's Ride.
Oh my! I cannot wait to get to that Twitter feed.
You lost that.
That was awful.
I hit the Washington, Atlanta. I had the Commanders. You had the Chargers -4 against Arizona,
which they beat them by 1.
They ended up winning reluctantly. Another collapse. Which we've talked about big birds. Baltimore -4 over Jacksonville. Baltimore controlled the game, then didn't control the game, and then made Trevor Lawrence look like an all-pro quarterback, and then couldn't go back down the field because
they had Jackson 3 touchdown passes dropped.
The ball. Yeah, I mean, so not Lamar's fault.
What are you supposed to?
Yeah,
I think one of them was
it was so-so, but
the other two,
right in the hands. As the announcers said, as they're recapping the game later in the game, as I think maybe Baltimore was trying to come back or whatever it was, because they still had a field goal from 67 yards, which is the first time in 65 attempts, I believe it was, that Justin Tucker's missed in fourth quarter overtime. 67 yards, I think it was.
It was 67 yards and 65.
Yeah,
what you were talking about. So, now, I think it's because of the weather.
Yeah,
personally, he didn't hit crisp. He knew right away.
Right.
I would tell everyone it was online.
Right. Oh,
it made you go,
oh yeah, you thought it was good.
And then you were like, that's short. The trajectory's not
4 yards short. But they said, basically he hit 2 guys in the face mask. So that tells you how accurate the passes that were dropped were. Them were right through the hands. I did not see that part of the game.
One was Andrews.
Yeah. So, but Baltimore has made a trend of this.
It's a bad trend.
For a really good football, or what I consider a really good football team, a team you don't want to see in the playoffs,
right?
They don't finish games.
No.
And I don't know, do I trust them to correct that more than I trust them not to correct it? And that's the question, because ultimately they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't know if they correct it in the playoffs. That means.
I mean, the NFL is about finishing football games.
And they can't. And trust me, when your team
End
can't
of story. Like the Washington Commanders, the reason they're in contention is because that team finishes football games. And I don't care how you do it. I don't care if it's ugly. But right now, the Falcons can't finish a football game.
Nope.
The Ravens can't finish a football game.
Cannot.
The Commanders are back in it because they finished football games. The Chiefs finish football games. Right now, the Bills, they're kind of either side.
Right.
But so that's things that you start to look at from a trend perspective.
As we get
now a little bit, but that's what I always talk about with Dallas, because that's always my biggest concern with them, is if they fall in love with the pass, they're not as good at finishing football games for multiple reasons. Right. But a lot of that has to do with what you've done the whole game. But if you can finish football games, and that's why a lot of pundits right now are talking the Cowboys up is because of their running game. If you call the right plays, you can finish football games. I hate how much notoriety Dallas is getting right now. Drives me crazy.
It only means one thing.
It means one thing, and they play the Colts this week.
It means a loss.
So right at home. at home. But yes, those are kind of some trends we're seeing. Bengals also on the up and up as far as finishing football games.
Correct.
I had the over 42.5 of Cincinnati and Tennessee this weekend, and
man, that was
just. I mean, Cincinnati did find a way to win. Just thought there would be a little bit more offense, and there wasn't. You did have the under, the third string quarterback for the Rams, playing easy against the Chiefs.
Pretty easy under.
Right. I mean, the only thing that was going over there is if the Chiefs happen to put up 42.
Right, and I just don't.
They just didn't.
Nor do I think they really would have.
Right. The thing I like about the Chiefs, one, they're closing football games, but two, I like that they're with Pacheco committing to the run a little bit more.
Yeah, which is really good.
So that's good for them overall.
Still, no one decides to they man up with Kelsey makes no damn sense. If you are on your side of the football field, do not man him because he will score.
Right.
Well, it's simple.
Here's the thing that I haven't understood is that like with Cheetah, that makes sense. But like teams aren't making
there's only Kelsey
Valdez,
really.
Scantling, or Sky Moore, or like they're not making the peripheral receivers for the Chiefs beat them. They're allowing Kelsey to.
Just like, hey.
Which scares me for the Chiefs a little bit in the playoffs because you think that teams would figure that out. Double team?
Don't.
It's called a double team.
No one has all year.
It's called a double team. Put two guys on
you
them.
Think that.
But you had the DGen pick of Chargers, Seahawks, Ravens.
Got one of them.
Gosh. And I had Detroit. Dang it. Good fight.
Good fight.
So we both hit one there. So, yeah, ultimately you take the NFL shot. I take the college shot.
Which, by the way, it's funny because we're usually the opposite experts. If we go overall standings real quick, I'm closing this gap. You're closing that gap.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of damn sense.
Right.
That was gross. I don't like that.
A little mouthwash.
Yeah.
Well then, it's time.